Yet the Eastern Cape has significant challenges in realizing its potential. There is here in the Eastern Cape the legacy of apartheid, and you see it wherever you go. The legacy of the Bantustan misrule that we had in our country, balkanization of our country, and the migrant labor system. Now, Deputy Minister Holomisa, a former dictator of one of those Bantustans, on reflecting on the challenges facing the province, wrote to me recently and said, the Eastern Cape, the second largest province in South Africa, and it is quite expansive, by the way, and the Premier was talking about it yesterday when we were interacting with Transnet. It is a huge province, second only to the Northern Cape. But this is the product, as Deputy Minister Holomisa continued to write, of the amalgamation of former homelands of Transkei and Ciskei with some parts of the Cape Province, of the old South Africa, he says.
So we always told you about the incompetence of the African National Congress, the ANC, and its leadership. And I don't think it's anything new to that effect. But in recent times, I think most of you guys have seen when President Ramaphosa went and visited the Eastern Cape and spoke about the state of things in the Eastern Cape, the province of the Eastern Cape, the poorest province in the whole of South Africa, and the second biggest province in South Africa. How things are bad in that province. Children crossing rivers using drums to get to school, no bridges, poor infrastructure, high levels of unemployment among the youth, and everything in the province of the Eastern Cape is in disarray. And the president was lamenting the state of things. And to use his famous favorite word, I'm so shocked at how things are in the province. And he goes on to blame the apartheid government or the apartheid system that led to the situation that is in the Eastern Cape. And to some extent, you can do that. But how long can you do it since you've been in power for 30 years? How long should we give you a leeway of still using the apartheid government sins, so to speak, to say that we are in a state that we are in as a country, and the Eastern Cape as a province, the state that it's in, simply because of the apartheid government? And there isn't some responsibility that has been taken by the ANC government to say, we've been here for 30 years, we've mismanaged, we've stolen, we are incompetent, and the reason the people of the Eastern Cape are suffering simply because of the way the ANC has treated the people of the Eastern Cape. Take some responsibility. At least if you acknowledge it, therefore there is a good chance that you might do something. But I don't know, South Africans, are you willing to put up, the Eastern Cape people, are you willing to put up with the ANC again for so many years? From the time of Mandela to the time of President Cyril Ramaphosa, been many premiers that came from that province, and nothing has happened, or nothing good for that matter, that they can show us that they've done in the Eastern Cape. Let me know what you think with regard to that.
I found the city filthy. The city was not clean. There was rubbish all over the show. I got out of the car and even spoke to the police officers, and I said to them, this city looks torn. Ka Sesotho re re itabogile. Ngaruvenda re re yokeruwa itabogile. And they agreed. And it then infused in me a view and a determination that we've got to do something to turn this city around, because it does not belong where it is and what it looks like. It is this that we must now do, work together to ensure that the inner city is well primed to be rejuvenated, and that we should make it attractive for new investment and jobs. It was the other day when I was going to Chiawelo in Soweto, and I drove through the city and into the township, and it was like driving through a dark city. And I longed to see the beautiful contours of my city through street lights, but there were none.
Here's another one that shocked President Ramaphosa. Remember, about a month or so ago, he went to the city of Johannesburg, and he was shocked at the state of the city. When he walked on the streets of the city, it was filthy and all those things. And he was, again, shocked. President Cyril Ramaphosa's favorite word, being shocked. I don't know where he lives, and that he doesn't see all of these things that are happening in the city. He was talking of him driving to Soweto, his home in Soweto, Chiawelo. He was driving through the city and it was dark. And he was disappointed or shocked by that. I think Panyaza Lesufi later on apologized or things like that. And the mayor of Joburg, another ANC appointee, he was promising that he was going to change things. President Ramaphosa was lamenting this because the G20 summit is coming to South Africa. It's going to be held in Joburg. And the G20 summit foreign ministers or ministers of international relations, they had a meeting somewhere in Joburg, and the areas in the vicinity of where the conference was held, it was filthy. It was like, so he was very, very disappointed that that didn't represent South Africa in a good light and all that. But then again, he was shocked. And it is the ANC that has been in charge for the better part in the city of Johannesburg, for the better part of the province. In fact, the province has always been ANC since 1994. So I don't know where this president lives. I don't know why he's out of touch. I don't know why he's just out of tune. You know what I mean? It's like he's living in a different world. Perhaps maybe that's why, that's part of the reason as to why there isn't any sense of agency coming from the ANC government in doing things. And you can compare that to the city of Cape Town and how the inner city is beautiful, is clean, is being taken care of. If you want to know that the city is doing great, go to the inner city and see how the inner city looks like. If you go to eThekwini, Durban, filthy ANC-led government. If you go to the Eastern Cape, Port Elizabeth, East London, you name them, Orange Free State, in Bloemfontein, all these, the big cities in many different provinces, Mpumalanga, Witbank, you name all this, Nelspruit, led by the ANC government, and they are filthy and all of that. And you go to the Western Cape in Cape Town is clean, beautiful and all that. It's not perfect, but it's been taken care of, And here is President Ramaphosa, still shocked.
Already mid-course on our journey, we got to hear that the country had gone into stage 6 of load shedding, and that surprised and shocked us. And I immediately felt that it was necessary that I should cut my visit short and return to the country. Very delighted that the Deputy President and the Minister were on site to deal with the challenge that confronted our country. And the Deputy President made a statement to the effect that we apologize to people of our country.
Oh, here's another one that shocked the president. Remember a couple of years ago when he went, I think it was overseas or something like that, and the country was plunged into stage 6 of load shedding. And he cut his overseas trip short, and he came back to come and attend to the matter. And indeed, he did come to attend to the matter, but nothing happened. Load shedding was still there, it continued and all that. And he was again shocked about that incident. So tell me, you telling me that President Ramaphosa is still shocked by the state of South Africa. Where is this man living? Where he's shielded from these things? Doesn't he read the newspaper? Doesn't he watch the news? Doesn't he have advisors who tell him? Or does he have people around him which is yes men, and they just tell him all the good things about what's happening in South Africa? And again, I'm emphasizing, I know I'm repeating myself, that this is the president who's out of touch. This is the government which is out of touch with its own people. And it's not a surprise that even today, they are like hell-bent on charging South Africans a VAT, you know, or increasing VAT, so to speak. So, like, I'm not surprised. They're out of touch. They don't understand, like, people on the ground, they are suffering. They are unable to take this a strain, you know, economic strain. And the ANC's whole bent on like, no, we're going to go ahead with this. Our pride, our ego tells us that this is the only way. We're not going to listen to anybody else who brings up different solutions. So let me know what you think about this, and let's share some of your comments. Thanks again for tuning in and supporting us. And we couldn't be able to do this without you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.